So we're here at Amara. I'm with Ulysses. We have met before, but I don't really know you just yet. So let's break dance a little bit. You want to do that?
Sure.
How about that? Tell me about you.
I'm a board member at the Quantum on the Bay.
Okay.
I sit atop a board where we have 3,500 residents. We have a bunch of other buildings that are concerned about things that are going on in the neighborhood. And so, I like to get involved in these things because I get to meet my local representatives. I like to get my voice heard. Things that don't necessarily happen on a daily basis.
You are definitely outspoken. I've heard you ask questions several times at different events. You're always there to help. I call protecting the association, the community, and stuff like that. I see you all the time, so that's great. So, I guess, knowing that you're at Quantum, what are three things that are kind of near and dear to your heart? What are the three things that you are always looking to improve upon, or fix, or whatever in that general area at your association? And why do you come to these things? Is it for that stuff? You have an agenda a little bit?
I think that the main motivation for doing this stuff is actually to protect our property value. I have been investing in Edgewater for a very long time. I've seen the opportunity and the possibilities of increasing the neighborhood for a long time, and I think that's one of the things that has developed over time but hasn't really been focused on. So I think that we need to kind of mitigate some of the circumstances that are going on, things like the short-term rentals and things like the overdevelopment, and we're looking to kind of make sure that we do this, but we do it consciously. Beyond that, we do have a flooding issue. The building in particular, Quantum, we actually suffered from that, but I know that the Paraíso district, for instance, suffers from it. I know that several other buildings have issues with it. So it's one of those things that we're focusing on, and I know that they're working on doing the seawall and the water mitigation, so those things are coming. The other thing that I am focused on is actually quality of life. So I know that a lot of people have been concerned with the traffic issues that are coming. We've had several deaths or several major accidents within, a couple of blocks of where we live.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that without an additional investment in the infrastructure, we're looking at, increasing catastrophic events that we would love to see offset.
So it's interesting you say that, because for me, that's like kind of the biggest issue that I see when I go to all these different events. So you see me all over the place, BHA, BNA, DNA. Yeah. And one of the things I think we forget about is there's a host of concerns, I should say, that people want to stand up and ask questions about and address and talk through. But at the end of the day, infrastructure, I think, for me, is the biggest underlying issue that we have, because, for instance, you said overdevelopment. Today, I was talking to my buddy over here, today is like the first time I've seen people use that over and over again. There's been a sea change. Now everyone's talking about overdevelopment. And the reason is because the pipeline, if you look at the past 10 years, we're 5 or 6 years into that decade, that cycle that we're in. Now all of a sudden, we're about to double everything.
For sure.
We're doubling up here.
For sure.
In a short amount of time.
For sure.
And so, the interesting thing is that everyone's worried about trash and, nearby construction damage from onto their property and things like that. And I'm sitting over here like, well, where are all these cars going to go? How are you going to get around?
And here's the thing about it. So I understand from a development perspective, once you get these geocentrically dense areas, obviously you're going to have to go along with some iteration of change, right? And as you put up these buildings, again, to circle back, you have to be responsible about it. You have to make sure that you are ahead of things like infrastructure. You have to make sure that you're ahead of things like the traffic patterns. You have to make sure that you're ahead of things like the social issues. I personally have actually been a big advocate of homelessness. So I go out and I feed the homeless. I volunteer on a regular basis. Wow. And I've seen a lot of my homeless friends actually get displaced from the neighborhood, not even necessarily put anywhere, just simply displaced.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I would necessarily say the majority of society is worried about, but I think it's something that carries throughout all of the socioeconomic classes that we should all be caring about. And even then, when you apply that to regular people, there are things that are social issues that other people don't pay attention to, things like the crosswalks in the street where people are now crossing between a lot more traffic than they used to be, or things like they don't know where to cross because there is no sidewalk painted or no crosswalk painted. So they're just, growing pains, right? And so
I agree with you, right? And that goes back, it's infrastructure. Where do you put everybody at the end of the day, right? And so we do a lot of work with Camilla's House. We've been a partner for a long time on the board there, and I can tell you that you're right. Sometimes it's just a kind of, I don't want to call it a shell game, but they just move them around from place to place when there's other resources. There's other things they can do, but they also have to want to do that stuff sometimes, So it's a hard situation. It's you have to strike a balance there, and the police officers do, I think, a pretty good job. But it's always hard, no matter what. It's hard for a lot of these folks. So that's great. So you're in general, you have a multifaceted, I guess, approach to your association, your neighborhood, everything that's going on. You're concerned about many things, and you're going about it, I think in a great way. So appreciate the talk today. It's very nice to get to know you a little bit better. I've definitely met you, I think, 2 or 3 times already. Right?
I appreciate you hosting this.
100%.